Hey, Gerrit.
Just how do you feel about taking the ball at home with the kind of a big game now? You guys are down 0-2.
It's always a great pleasure to pitch at home in front of our fans, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of pageantry and everything, so it should be a nice night.
Other questions for Gerrit? Joel, to your right, Gerrit.
Does your mindset change at all when your offense is struggling to score runs? I assume you don't want to give them up ever, but understanding how precious they might be right now against Houston and its run prevention.
I feel like I should probably dedicate all my focus to the Houston hitters, really. It's probably the best way to combat that.
We'll go to Marley in the second row.
Gerrit, you know this ballpark well. Watching from afar, from the dugout, how did you think the open roof played?
I thought it was a nice night. Some dicey fly balls, wind affected a couple of them. But, we had, it doesn't affect line drives at the middle, So, and the deciding factor was, just a little bit more pressure from the opposition and a striking blow, and, we came up just short.
Other questions? On your right, Gerrit.
Gerrit, when you see how razor thin the margin has really been, it's a couple of 0-2 pitch, 2-strike pitches here.
Yeah.
Do you feel any pressure to go out there and be perfect, given the fact how close these games have been played out so far?
To be honest, I just kind of expected it. The Astros went down 6 runs in game 1, and it was still a razor-thin margin too. So it's just that's the way it is in the postseason, and that's the way it is against great teams.
Jesus in the back.
Gerrit, Framber Valdez told us that in 2019, that 4th inning would have doomed him, that he wouldn't have been able to get out of it. You were here, you were his teammate. How have you seen him grow as a pitcher and also with his mound presence?
His mound presence has always been a bit whimsical, and I still think it is. That's who he is. I feel that it's hard. The numbers speak for themselves. Obviously, there's been a lot of improvement. It's hard for me to answer that question specifically because I haven't seen him pitch quite as much as you guys were, or enough to really answer that question thoroughly. But certainly, the body of work speaks for itself, and he, trusts his teammates, trusts his defense, and continues to make pitches in big spots. That's certainly what he did tonight. So,
other questions for Gerrit? Joel.
With the historic implication that if you guys don't win Game 3, you probably will not win this series, do you carry implication into a game like that as encouragement, trying to find some fuel from it, or do you want to ignore it at 100%?
You asked me a similar question last series, and just like the answer is, regardless if it's 2-0, or if it's 1-1, or it's 0-2, it can't affect the way I go about my business. We all have a job to do. We play each and every game in and of itself, play each and every pitch within each and every game until there's no more pitches to play, win or lose. So, and I alluded to it earlier, like the club that's opposing us, certainly any club demands as much focus as you possibly can put into trying to execute your game plan and your pitches in order to be successful. So the rest of the stuff is irrelevant.
A couple last ones for Gerrit in the third row here.
Gerrit, just what do you expect from the crowd going back home in the Bronx?
Yeah, we're excited to see them. It was really special for us to win Game 5 and win it in front of them, and that was my first experience. Fully hot in the bullpen. I got showered with beer and hit in the head with French fries as we got the last out, and you know, there's a part of every baseball player that I think just, you know, really enjoys making the fan base happy, just enjoys making the people in the ballpark happy, or vice versa if you're in a opposing you know, team's ballpark. So anytime that we can go back there, you know, we worked really hard to be in this position. We worked really hard to get to the division series. So we're excited to celebrate that hard work at the beginning of the game with the fans, and excited to get after baseball. You know, we just get another opportunity to play, which is what we love to do.
I'll finish up in the first row here.
Gerrit, obviously you played with a lot of these guys. You faced many of them as well since you've been in New York, and you've obviously watched these two games. Is there anything in particular about their approach offensively you find as a big challenge, or the big challenge facing them?
It's tough to narrow it down to one thing. But probably one characteristic that connects all the dots is, you know, the way that they play together. So, you know, whatever it is in any given game, they're going to try to gang tackle you, really. You know, and play to the whistle blows, like what they would say in the NFL or something like that. You know, it's just very team-oriented mentality, and I feel that that's probably a commonality amongst any good teams or any teams that are getting this deep in the postseason. But certainly, you know, it's just at another level of familiarity with them, with the, you know, type of veterans and the type of players that they've had in all these big situations over all the years. So that's what got them to the level that they were at, and it's what sustained them probably.
Gerrit, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.